We're dealing with an EBT recipient right now who decided to think that she could actually trick a trickster. And when it turned around and backfired back on her, she was more upset than the trickster.
I guess so.
Check it out. Y'all make
I have
y'all
an opinion on this, right? There was this girl I was working with a few years ago. Unfortunately, she lost her job. I don't know how she managed, but she lost her job and she ended up losing her place or whatsoever. So she reached out to me. She was like, girl, is there any space you can give me to stay while I find a job? I'm like, what you mean? You want to live here free? She was like, no, like, fortunately for me, I was able to get approved for food stamp and I get almost $800. So I want to give you the food stamp to live in the spot that you're going to give me so you can use the food stamp until I find a job. I was like, okay, deal. Almost 800. That's a whole lot of, that's a whole lot of good food. I can add that to the cash I usually afford to buy food and all my 3 freezers about to be full. So I told her, go ahead, move in. I told her I got an office downstairs. I'm just going to clear it out for you. I cleared her office. She moved in, okay? She gave me the food stamp and the pin to the food stamp card. I went all out. I'm from Liberia. Our food is very expensive, okay? I went to the international store. I went to the African stores, all the ones I like to shop to. I bought everything that I need. I mean, I had some lobster too, okay? I had some red sniper fish, the ones I can afford to buy with my hard-earned money. I stacked up on food. All my 3 freezers were full. After stacking up, 2 days later, I come from work. I see this girl cooking up in the kitchen. She's cooking up the food that I bought with the food stamp card that she traded in to pay for her rent. I look at her, I was like, girl, did you go grocery shopping? She was like, no, the food you bought, I'm just cooking some for the house. I'm like, for the house? Okay, no problem. I just went upstairs. The next day she said she had some errands to run. Once she went, I got a big SUV. I laid the seat down. I started unloading all 3 of my freezers. I unloaded the refrigerator, all the freezer that came with the refrigerator. I unloaded everything. I packed it in my car. I took it to my sister's house. Including the food she cooked. I allowed her kids to eat or whatsoever. They went upstairs to go play. I took the food she cooked as well. I took it to my sister's house. I went upstairs, I laid down. She came back and she went to go get some of the food she cooked. It wasn't there. She came to my room, opened the door, peep, and she was like, girl, your refrigerator is empty. And I checked the freezer, there's nothing. I was like, yeah. I took it all to my sister's house. She was like, why? I said, because you traded the food stamp for me to buy food in place of your rent. So you're not going to sit here and eat up the food. It's like you going to be literally living rent free. She was like, are you? I said, I'm so serious. You're not going to eat that food. She was like, even my kids? I was like, even your kids who are getting free child care. Every time you leave the house, they just chill with my older kids. You're not paying for that. You just want to live free. So no. So your kids not gonna eat. I was like, you don't know my sister's address. When we hungry, we just gonna go to my sister's house, eat, wipe our mouths, and then come back and sit down here. She was like, wow. She's like, now I've seen mean people, but you a mean AB. I was like, oh, you gonna call me out my name? I was like, girl, I don't have no arguments with you, okay? I'm just standing on the agreement we made here. You gave it to me for me to shop for my family, not for you to come and eat it up, okay? But you already paid for this month, so you can stay, but you're not eating that food. She was like, wow, this is unbelievable. I need to hurry up, find a job, and get the F up out of here. I was like, sorry. I told her, feel free to drink some nice, clean, filtered water. I mean, it's the cleanest water because my water was like...
She was not playing like I said. Pretty much the young lady thought that she had a sucker on her hand that she could have just shot her to shit and she would have been like, okay, no problem. You know what I'm saying? She figured by the time she come home, the food would have been cooked and, everything would have been nice and prepared and, you know what I'm saying? It would have been a good way that she can still eat for free, right? That wasn't a part of the agreement like she said.
Not at all.
But she thought that homegirl right here was stupid. That she was just going to be happy that she cooked the food and was like, okay, if you're going to be doing this all day, I'm happy with that because I can't do it myself, right? She thought it was like some kind of agreement. Here, I cook and clean while you go do your thing. Nah. Plus, you getting child care for free every time your kids hang out with her kids. Nah, that wasn't
oldest is
that
watching
wasn't
her
a part.
kids.
No, that's not it. That's not a part of the agreement right there. You try to be slick. So now your shit got backfired on you. And now you thought that, you know what I'm saying, that you was going to get one over on this nice young lady. She is a very nice young lady, right? To agree to have you stay with her in exchange for your, EBT food stamps of $800, right?
Yep.
So come on, man. You can't trick a trickster. She tried, she laughed it off. You probably thought that she was going to be mad at you right then and there, but she laughed it off after you said, I'm cooking for the house. You said, okay. Anytime somebody laugh like that, be careful.
They got a lot of their sleeves,
It's something
boy.
coming behind you, so you better be careful with what you do or say.
That's what she get, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, she thought she was going to outsmart her by giving her, first of all, you shot her the G. I'm going to give you $800 in food stamps. Second of all, that's real crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to say, basically, this lady, she wasn't supposed to accept the food stamps because it wasn't actually issued to her. I'm going to look way beyond that part right there and just simply say, listen, a deal is a deal at the end of the day. You gave it to her. You told her it was to cover rent because I guess your back was against the wall. But you can't honestly think that you was going to still eat out the food that she bought because it now becomes her money.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So it's like, it's almost as if you're eating for free. Nah, life does not work like that.
Right.
And if you was never taught a hard lesson before, definitely a lesson was learned in this situation. Don't try to play people out, and you can't outsmart a trickster. No way, no how. Listen, what she should have done was just be honest and upfront from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I need somewhere to stay. Forget the whole food stamp compromise type of situation. I need somewhere to stay. I don't have any money right now.
Right.
And I'm going to try my best to, get in and get out, basically. Can you hold me down at least for a certain amount of time?
Right.
Instead of trying to shoot her the shot or shoot the G and basically tell this young lady that I'm going to give you $800 to pay for the room and then turn around and
which is stupid because what she should have done,
crazy.
She should have said like, okay, I'm only gonna need let's say $200 until the next time you get more money.
Yes.
And gave her the rest.
Or maybe
feel
make
me?
an agreement like what you're saying for $700,
Yeah,
$650,
yeah.
something. No, your back is against the wall. I'm gonna
Yeah.
put up the entire $800
Try
because
to
the
play it
larger
out.
the number, it sounded better. She's assuming that it's gonna sound better to whomever she's giving it to.
Right.
Well, girl, sister, girl, it did not work. You hear me?
She had something in store for your black ass. That's how it is. But listen, I know y'all know a lot of people that's pretty much just like this, right? That, come on, we've all had to shack up and,
Yes.
catch up, like how they say, you have to catch at somebody's place or, shack up at somebody's place,
Always
right?
trying to get over.
And no matter how much you try to dodge that person by just staying out of the way, you wait until they leave and then you come out and do your thing. And for some reason, it always ends up
in a clash.
a disagreement because this person is watching your every move and you don't even know they're watching your every move. But, it's just terrible. It's terrible when you live with somebody.
You
It's
know what's
not good to
crazy
do that,
also?
though.
Because I gotta give this young lady kudos, no
Yeah.
respect to her,
Yeah.
because it's like you work with a person, that doesn't mean that you know them. To
Right.
actually bring them into your home
house.
with their kids and anything could have went wrong. You see what I'm saying? Because you hear stories on a basis where a co-worker tried to help somebody else and it just ends in tragedy or it doesn't
Correct.
end well or
Yeah.
somebody stole something from somebody. It's always something.
That leads to that information about the guy who helped his coworker,
The coworker.
and ended up killing him.
A couple years ago, there was a guy who worked at a fast food chain.
Yeah.
And he was a manager at the fast food chain, and he realized that one of the employees, was literally homeless. He was coming to work, and even though he was trying to play it off, he was changing at the job and getting fresh at the job and so on and so forth. So he figured, something, young person like myself, if anything, I'm a single guy, I'm going to bring him into my home and give him a room until, he get a couple paychecks accumulated.
Really catch up on things.
Right.
Yeah.
And in order for him to get his own place or whatever. Only to find out that there was a situation that occurred. I guess he didn't like what the manager might have said to him or whatever it was, and he decided to kill the manager. Keep in mind, the manager is the one who brought him into
Right.
his home.
Right.
And he still turned around being ungrateful and killed the manager. And, his mom, the manager's mom had spoke to the local news, and she said that that's just her son. He's always this helpful,
Always out there to
trustworthy
help. Yeah.
type of guy. I think he was like a Christian guy, missionary work, so on and so forth. So she's not shocked, to say the least, that he's just that dude who's always helping
Right.
somebody. But to turn around and have his story end in tragedy,
Right.
it's ridiculous. And like I said, it's so crazy because thank God everything was just more like a verbal disagreement
Correct.
instead of
And it didn't
physicality.
get into a physical fight.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It's just not worth it. Even sometimes when you stay with family members, it doesn't work out.
Not at all.
A lot of times when you're down on your luck, people tend to treat you a different way, basically.
Yeah, they want you to be their slave. Like
Sometimes,
it's like, for instance,
or they're just rude, and they look at you like
like you're supposed to do it.
or they look at you like, I'm gonna say, you ain't worth nothing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta
Right.
stay with me. So now it's my rules.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot.
And there's a lot of times, like I was saying before, that they would actually treat you as a housemaid or somebody, everything that needs to get done, because now you're literally at their mercy, you know what I'm saying? And everything that needs to get done around the house, they just expect you to jump at it in repayment for your stay. And then it makes it even worse, right? Because if you find out that this is what the case is, and you're the type of person that, like I said before, you try to dodge them by not being around. You kind of stay outside more than you inside, so you don't be like a nuisance on the inside. They still would turn around and find something for you to complain about.
Yes.
You're running the light too much. The light bill all of a sudden is high, but you just getting in the house. You only spending like what? The average person who come from outside, they only spend about an hour watching TV before they fall asleep.
If that much, depending on the time you get back, right?
Correct, yeah. So now it's like a complaint about something. Trust me, it's always, I know hard time fall upon a lot of people, but it's always better to have your own roof over your head. It's always better to have things in your control instead of having somebody else guide and tell you when to do this and when to do that. It would even get to the point where they would say, they'll set a schedule at 10 o'clock at night. Everything turns off in the house.
You gotta be in the house by a certain time.
Yeah, you gotta be in the house at a certain time.
I'm not getting out of bed to open the door for you.
Correct.
And I go to bed at 9:30 every night.
And if you're not in here by 9:30, the doors are locked. So now what you gonna do?
Yes.
So it's like it's a pain in the ass situation, but to each lesson has to be learned.
Yes.
Right? You have to rise above from these things that you might get into, and don't ever let it happen again. Tell yourself that. I would never let this happen again in my life, because not only did I thought, and I'm talking about both parties, the person who allowed you to stay inside of the house and the person who's staying in the house.
Yes.
Learn from that lesson. I'm never going to have this happen again because XYZ treated me this way and XYZ treated you that way. So now it's like both of y'all got to learn a lesson on being self-reliant.
And a lot of times that's how family and friendship part.
It does.
Yeah, it departs like that
on
a
a
lot
simple
of times.
favor
I'm
that
no
you might
longer
have done.
talking to this person. I'm no longer talking to this family member or this friend, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, y'all.
It happens.
Let us know in the comment section what you think about this crazy video.
It happens.
Do you agree with the lady who said, you know what? This food is now mine. She gave me the money for the food, and guess what? She can't get any of the food. Or do you think this lady was being a little mean, as the girl said, mean AF or whatever?
Yeah.
Because basically, you got my food and you're not giving me anything to eat, even though I gave it to you for rent purposes. So let us know in the comment section what you think.
She pretty much got played for trying to play somebody.
Yes.
Right? I thought the young lady, the homeowner, was very very brilliant to kind of like see the bullshit before it happened and took all of the food out of the house so there would be no discrepancy about anything, because you gave me money for this, not for you to eat while you're there. So she handled that situation very well. And like I said before, everybody just be careful who you may, have these agreements, roommates, whatever the case might be. I know there's always situations where you got to argue with a roommate, of course. But just work on doing better, getting your own stuff, and get rid of all that, frustration and arguing.
Catch y'all later.
Facts.